So I think 10, 20 years from now, well, 20 years from now, um, people will be using people using blockchain crypto the way they use the internet without mentioning it. First time we've been through this one of these things, and we even in the bull markets we have always had the mentality that Bitcoin can go 80% down over a period of time, and it may last for months or years. So we're okay. Yeah. I think fundamentally many companies, when we're in the bull market, many companies just sort of expected that the bull market will continue indefinitely. Markets don't do that. Market go bull, bear, just goes in cycles. So we understood that, and we just held a fairly large amount of cash reserves during the bull markets. And luckily also for us, our income comes into different cryptocurrencies, and stablecoin is one of those. Stablecoins accounts to about 25% to 30% of our income. So we're relying heavily on that now. So yeah, I think overall we're just because we're in a new industry, we are quite expectant of the cycles. So just having that mindset really helps, I think.
Yeah,
right?
certainly.
So for industry players like ourselves, now is actually the best time to hire talent. So there's much more talent available in the pool now, and also we have less other companies competing for the same talent with ridiculous salaries, compensation, etc. That didn't make sense. I mean, a year ago, if a university grad out of college, if they knew Solidity programming, they can get an offer for $500,000 a year. I mean, I think that's kind of, that's a bit overboard, to be honest. So now we're seeing much more reasonable situations in the industry. We're looking at investing more. In bear markets, there will be more consolidation. And the guys who have cash and the guys who are left standing, who have very strong business models and strong product will benefit. When the next bull market comes, we're in a very good position to take advantage of that. And then the investments, M&As are all tied to that. For retail investors, the first thing, of course, is to survive. So make sure that you have enough money that your lifestyle is not impacted. The second thing, if you have extra money, now is actually not a bad time. Well, different people use different strategies. I don't want to recommend any specific strategy, but some people like, micro seller, El Salvador, they're buying now so that the average cost actually comes down. And if they can last for a few through this bear market, on the next bull market, they'll have more holdings. So now it's actually a very cheap time to buy. If we're in a bear market, I want to be careful giving financial advices, not giving financial advices. So, but for retail investors, it's the same. Focus on my advice is always the same. Focus on a small number of projects that you know well. And if you know that the project is going to survive, and you can tolerate the risk, by all means. But understand that tomorrow the market may go down even further. It may go up, it may go down. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But longer term horizon, the industry is staying. The industry is not going away. It's very hard to predict the future, but historically we've seen very accurate 4-year cycles. But there's also many things in the world that are 4 years. The Bitcoin halving is every 4 years. The United President's election is every 4 years. The stock market goes through a 4-year cycle as well, if you look at it historically. So it doesn't mean that the next cycle will be exactly 4 years, but I think there's a pretty decent probability that might happen. But if we look at all the other different things that you just mentioned, that you said are different, the inflation, the war, everything else, those things should really help the crypto industry. Those things should really push people to want, the inflation should push people to want to hold a limited supply asset. So the war and the more the world is divided, the more that the Bitcoin is a very global currency that actually shines. So the more those issues happen, the more people should need, the advantages of crypto blockchain is actually more clear. So yeah, to be honest, to be very frank, I was kind of surprised that Bitcoin only made an all-time high at 68,000. I thought it was going to go much higher. But again, I was wrong. So I'm never good at predictions. But all of those things in theory should help crypto. And also in the crypto business, They're very clear, very simple business models. You should have revenue, and because we're dealing with crypto money, we're dealing with this industry. It's actually not difficult for good businesses to make money. So I think just sustainability-wise, many businesses in this industry can sustain for a very, very long time. I'm not too worried about it. Today, I think the burn is actually a very small part of the BNB ecosystem value. I think BNB's most value actually is derived from the DeFi world today. There are so many different use cases that people can use BNB for, and there's BNB staking on PancakeSwap. There's Venus, which is a stable coin. There's many different things that people can also use BNB to buy airline tickets, even coffee, etc. There's the Binance card. People can use BNB to pay for things. So I think the burn is only a small part of it now. At the beginning, the burn may be the burn may be a big part of it. And we have since changed the burn protocol to depend more on the activities on the BNB chain instead of revenues from Binance, etc. So that change was adopted. So today, I think BNB is, and including Bitcoin, etc., they're much dependent on utility value, what people use it for. If there are use cases for it, then it has value. So I think this is different from like traditional stocks or securities where it depends on a company's revenue. BNB is way, I think BNB is way beyond that now.
You said that
in the decentralized world, well, first of all, centralization is not black and white. It's not one or the other. There's a spectrum of number one is a spectrum if we look at any particular aspect, and there's multiple aspects we gotta look at. So each one of them is a gradient scale. And so, for example, if we look at any cryptocurrency or blockchain, Bitcoin, I do think is by far the most decentralized blockchain, cryptocurrency, etc. But if you look at Bitcoin mining, it's quite centralized. Like, the top two miners top two or three mining pools will control more than 51% of the mining power. If you look at Ethereum or BNB chain, you can still associate a founder with those two blockchains and many other blockchains. So Ethereum, in that sense, if Vitalik suggests some changes, most likely the community will go with his suggestion. For BNB, myself, we can still identify that, even though I'm less technical, much less technical than Vitalik. But if I suggest something, the community most likely will support it. So that's centralization as well. So Ethereum and BNB having the identifiable founder is actually a less decentralized mechanism. Yes, Binance.com is a centralized exchange. And how many users do we have? We probably do have the largest user base in crypto now. And also we probably hold custody of the largest funds of any single platform in crypto today. So all of those are type of centralizations. Where there is a line, where it's good or bad, it's very, very difficult to tell. And as you said, so for example, the most decentralized manner would be like everybody working for themselves, no company, no organization. In a decentralized world, any two people can choose to work together. When they choose to work together, that's centralization. If you and I work together, then we're more centralized than David, because David is working alone. But if we all work independently, are we able to achieve the maximum impact that we can achieve today? Probably no. If we didn't start an organization, if we didn't hire people to work on common goal, then Binance would not be able to onboard so many users into crypto. We would not be able to provide the kind of tools we could provide today for hundreds of millions of people that use them today. Are those centralization? Yes. Are those bad or good? I think so far we've done good, but in a decentralized world, you cannot prevent people from working together, right? So you're not supposed to interfere with other people as long as they're not harming you or not harming themselves. So centralization will naturally form. So I think as long as we're centralized, we just got to be very cognizant of the fact that centralization is not a goal. Also, to be honest, decentralization itself is actually not really the goal. The goal we want to achieve is to give people the freedom. We want to develop technologies that give people freedom, ease of use, low fees. So freedom including permissionlessness, meaning that if you want to send some money to somebody else across the world, that's legit activity. You're not doing something dodgy. You should be able to do it. So we want to protect the fundamental properties that we want to achieve through decentralization. In the process, there will certainly be certain levels of centralization, groups working together, etc. But we don't want that to be the ultimate goal. It should not be ultimate goal for a single organization to control all the world's crypto, etc. Changes. We invest in our competitors, so that we actually want other exchanges to exist, more exchanges to exist in this industry. This way we can grow the industry faster. Right now, we not being arrogant, but we're doing the lion's share of the work on onboarding users into crypto. So we want to see more people doing that. So yeah, so it's a very tricky question. There's no right or wrong, but I'm actually very in much agreement with you. It's we want to be careful that we don't become overly centralized, overly big, overly monolithic. I think, number one is it's not like win or not, it's not succeed or not. Like we're all here persistently, consistently pushing forward. Sometimes a bit faster, sometimes a bit slower, depending on overall market conditions, macroeconomics, and other factors. But we're all here. We're not going anywhere. We're just consistently and persistently pushing this industry forward. So I think 10, 20 years from now, 20 years from now, people will be using blockchain crypto the way they use the internet without mentioning it. Today, I don't say like, hey, I'm gonna use the internet to message you. We just use it we just use it. There's many different applications on it. So I think 10, 20 years, we will get there. 10 years might still be a little bit tough, to be honest. Even if you look at the internet today, when we talk about video conferencing, sometimes still doesn't work that well. But I think eventually, like, people shouldn't be talking about blockchains. People shouldn't be talking about consensus, nodes, and all this other geeky stuff. People should be like, hey, I'm sending you some money. Hey, I'm doing a fundraising globally. I'm selling my art globally. I'm gonna hire a trainer, fitness trainer in the metaverse. All of those things should come naturally and without mentioning any technology. We will get there. It's just a matter of time.
That's it for today, guys. If you found this video useful, then don't forget to like the video and share this knowledge with your friends and family. And don't forget to check out the full video, link is in the description. Thank you.